"Oh, my child, lean close and warm your hands by the fire, for the night carries whispers of old truths, and the spirits walk between the flames." What I am about to tell you is not just a tale, it is a warning wrapped in the skin of a story. The storyteller bent forward, his beaded bracelets clicking softly as he stirred the fire. A burst of sparks rose into the night like fleeing fireflies. The circle of listening children leaned in eagerly. The elder's eyes were half closed, as though he could still see the past with perfect clarity. He took a slow breath. "It begins in the village of Okomodi," he said softly, "a place where the river sang, the drum spoke, and every man knew his neighbor's heartbeat. Yet in that peaceful village lived a young man whose pride shone brighter than the sun on the river. His name was Monsa. Monsa was tall, broad-shouldered, and gifted with a mind sharper than a spearhead. He carved masks more beautifully than any craftsman. He ran faster than the hunters, danced better than the festival performers, and his voice could charm crocodiles from the riverbank. But, my child, pride is a spirit that creeps in softly, wearing the face of talent. The villagers praised him. "Monsa, you are gifted," they would say. "Monsa, you will bring honor to our people." And each compliment was a seed planted in the soil of his heart. Seeds that, over time, grew roots far too deep. One morning, the elders announced a great festival honoring the ancestors. Mask makers, dancers, drummers, and storytellers would compete, and the winner would receive a blessing said to grant prosperity for a lifetime. Everyone expected Monsa to participate. Everyone expected him to win. And that was the beginning of the story's first shadow. For while others practiced quietly under the shade of palm trees, Monsa practiced loudly, so loudly that the entire village heard him shout instructions at figures who were not even there. He strutted around the central clearing, wearing half-carved masks, boasting, "No one can match me. Even the ancestors will bow." The villagers frowned but said nothing. "Pride, my child, is like an overripe fruit, beautiful on the outside, rotten within. Yet who dares tell the fruit it is rotten? Only one man ever tried, old Kanyenda, the blind drummer." Kanyenda was a man the village respected deeply. His drums could summon rain. His rhythms could calm newborns. Though his eyes were white and sightless, his wisdom saw through everything. One afternoon, as Monsa tuned his festival instruments, Kanyenda approached, tapping his walking stick against the earth. "Monsa," the old man said, "talent without humility is like a drum with a cracked hide. No matter how beautifully you play it, eventually it will tear." Monsa smirked. "Old one, your time has passed. Rest your bones. The festival belongs to me." Kanyenda's face tightened as though he had tasted bitterness. He sighed, lifted his drum, and played 3 slow beats, doom, doom, doom. The air trembled. "Beware, child," he warned softly. "Pride is a drum that echoes into ruin." But Monsa laughed, tossing his head back proudly. The storyteller paused here, letting the fire crackle loudly in the silence. The children exchanged uneasy glances. They knew, that laughter at the wrong moment always leads to trouble. The days passed, the storyteller continued, and the festival drew near. Yet strange things began to happen. Things that whispered warnings only a humble heart could hear. First, Monsa's carvings, once perfect, began to crack in strange patterns, as though carved by an unseen hand. When he slept, he dreamed of shadows wearing masks that mocked him. When he walked to the river, the water shimmered with reflections that were not his own. And the village began to notice. "Monsa," said the potter one morning, "your masks look uneasy." "Monsa," whispered the children, "why does the river show you frowning?" "Monsa," murmured the passing healer, "your shadow walks differently from your feet." Each comment was a tap at the drum of his pride. Instead of listening, Monsa grew angrier. He blamed the river. He blamed the wind. He even blamed the ancestors, or such foolishness. Then came the night before the festival. The sky was heavy with clouds. The air held its breath. Even the crickets fell silent. Monso stood alone in the clearing, polishing his grandest mask, a magnificent piece carved from sacred Iroko wood, adorned with cowries, feathers, and golden dust. "It is perfect," he whispered. "I am perfect." But as he spoke, the wind suddenly shifted. The clearing grew cold. The trees rustled uneasily, like old spirits stretching awake. And from the center of the darkness, a voice whispered, soft, distant, but unmistakable. "Are you certain?" Monso froze. His heart slammed against his ribs. His breath caught. The voice did not sound human. It sounded ancient, as old as the soil itself. "Who is there?" he demanded. The wind responded with a low moan. The mask in his hands trembled. And for a brief moment, just long enough for a bead of sweat to slide down Monso's back, the eyes of the mask glowed faintly. But when he blinked, the glow vanished. Monso shook his head violently. "No spirit will frighten me. I am destined to win." But the wind whispered again, this time closer, almost brushing his ear. "Pride dances the loudest before it falls." And somewhere deep in the forest, a drum beat sounded. A slow, echoing rhythm. Doom, doom, doom. The same rhythm old Kanyenda had played. The storyteller leaned back, letting the suspense settle like dust over the children's faces. "And so, my child," he said softly, "the festival morning arrived, and with it, the first cracks in a proud man's fate. And so, my child, the sun that once rose brightly on our brother's sun began to set." The storyteller shifted closer to the fire, the flames painting trembling shadows across his weather-lined face. The night had grown older, thicker, as though even the darkness leaned in to hear what would become of the once celebrated Oduma, whose pride had grown so heavy it bent the very path beneath his feet. "You remember, child," the old man whispered, "how Oduma stood on the cliff's edge, refusing the warnings of the elders, refusing the pleas of the villagers, refusing even the voice of his own mother. The world had tried to soften his heart, but pride," he clicked his tongue slowly. "Pride builds a wall even wisdom cannot climb." Now Oduma wandered alone, deep into the forest of forgotten echoes, the place where, they said, the spirits tested a person not with claws or teeth, but with truth. As he walked, the wind changed. The trees stopped their rustling. The animals quieted. Then the silence broke, not with a growl, but with a voice. His own voice. "Oduma," it whispered through the branches. "You are great, greater than all. You deserve more. You cannot fail." Oduma spun wildly, breath unsteady. But no matter where he turned, the voice followed, seductive, familiar, poisonous. "For the forest, my child, tells no lies. It only reveals what already lives within you." He clutched his chest. "It is only my mind. Only exhaustion." But the shadows twisted again, forming something that looked like him, but taller, broader, darker, with eyes burning like coals taken straight from the fire. The shadow Oduma stepped forward. "Why do you run?" the shadow asked. "Have you not claimed leadership? Have you not declared yourself above the elders? Above tradition? Above the spirits?" Oduma staggered backward. Fear tried to claw its way up his throat, but pride sealed his mouth. "I fear nothing," Oduma forced out. "Nothing commands me. Not you. Not the elders. Not even the spirits." The shadow smiled, a slow, terrible smile. "Then you have learned nothing." Before Oduma could speak, the ground beneath him gave way, sending him crashing into a deep ravine. Branches scraped his arms. Stones bruised his ribs. When he finally landed, breathless and broken, he looked up to see the shadow figure standing above him. "Your fall," it said, "is not the spirit's doing. It is your own. Hours, or perhaps moments, passed. Time behaves strangely in the presence of truth." Oduma tried to rise, but every attempt failed. His ankle throbbed, his strength drained. And for the first time since the day his pride began to grow like a vine choking a tree, Oduma felt small. He closed his eyes. "My people need me," he muttered. But another voice rose, one he had not heard since he was a child, gentle, warm, loving. His mother's. "Oduma, my son," the voice echoed softly, "true strength is not in standing tall, but in knowing when to kneel." The ravine glowed faintly, like moonlight bouncing off water. In that glow, Oduma saw every mistake he had made. Every moment he had dismissed advice. Every time he had shouted down a warning. Every friend he had pushed away. Every elder he had insulted. Every chance he had to turn back, ignored. The truth crushed him more heavily than any stone. And then, the shadow knelt beside him. "You see now?" it asked. Oduma swallowed hard. His voice cracked. "Yes. I see." The shadow reached out, not to harm him, but to help him stand. "For even your own darkness, my child, can guide you back to the light, if only you are willing to face it." Oduma limped out of the ravine just as dawn began to stretch golden fingers across the sky. His hair was tangled, his clothes torn, his pride shattered, but his eyes finally carried humility. When he returned to the village, the people gasped. Not because he looked wounded, but because he looked changed. Softer. Quieter. Human. He approached the elder circle. Once he would have stormed in without bowing. But today, he knelt. "Elders," he began, voice trembling, "I have wronged you. I have wronged this village. My pride blinded me. I believed I was above counsel, above tradition, above truth. I was not. I ask forgiveness. Not for my position back, not for praise, but so that I may learn to be small again." The elders exchanged glances. Not one spoke for a long time. Finally, Elder Neotsi, oldest and wisest, rose. "Oduma," he said, "leadership is not given to those who want to stand above others, but to those willing to stand among them." Oduma bowed his head. "Then let me be among them again." Whether they gave him leadership again does not matter, my child. What matters is that Oduma learned the lesson many never learn, even at the end of their days. Pride builds a throne, yes. But it also digs a grave. The storyteller leaned back as the fire hissed softly. "The village grew stronger after that day," he said. "And Oduma, he became a wiser man. Not perfect. No one is. But humble. And humility, child, humility is the only soil where wisdom grows." The flames crackled. The night hummed. The old man's eyes softened. "So remember this tale," he finished, letting the last words float like embers into the dark. "The higher pride lifts you, the harder truth will make you fall. But a humbled heart can rise again."